Hey guys, welcome back. So today's makeup tutorial features the color Marsala. This is a requested makeup look. I don't have the original palette, so this is a dupe for the metallic Marsala that came with that palette, the Pantone palette. But if you want to see how I got this look, then keep watching. So I'm starting out with a primer, and this is the Nivea post-shave balm. Just applying this onto my T-zone, then going in with some under eye cream, and this is by Himalaya. Now my skin has changed. With being pregnant, I've had a bit more pigmentation, my skin's become more oily, so I have had to change things up a little bit in terms of my skincare and makeup routine. But here I'm going in with the Clinique under eye, with the Clinique Even Better Concealer in the shade Orange Brightener as my corrector for my dark circles and also for the hyperpigmentation that I've got now on my cheek. My freckles have increased as well. I'm using the same corrector around my mouth, again to color correct the hyperpigmentation. I'm then going to fill in my eyebrows, and I'm using the Freedom Brow Pomade in the shade Ebony. I normally don't leave this clip in my videos, but I've left it in this one, and I'm just going to show one eyebrow because it can get quite boring to watch. But you can see a massive difference between my two eyebrows after one's done. I'm going to go in with the Body Shop Darkening drops just to contour my face before I go in with my foundation. So this is going to look a little bit harsh, but which is fine because I am going to go over that area with foundation. But I wanted to do this step first just to see, well, just to try something different actually. I am blending it out fairly well though. I'm not leaving the line harsh. So I'm contouring my cheeks, and I'm going to take the color up across my temples as well and along my jawline. If you haven't tried these drops, I really recommend them. They're so good. They blend out really easily, and the color of them allows for a really nice natural contour, but you can go heavier if you wanted to. And I think it would still look pretty good. But yeah, definitely recommend these, and I use them to darken up foundations as well that are too light for me. So yeah, really recommend this product. I'm using that to contour my nose as well, although having said that, when I look at the end results, this was a bit pointless because it gets covered up with the foundation completely, so you could really skip this step out or make it a lot more prominent. But I always worry about making nose contours really prominent, even if I'm going to go in with foundation after. But for foundation, I'm using the L'Oreal True Match in the shades 4W and 6W. On camera, this might look a little bit lighter, but in person, it does match my skin. With the ring light as well, I find that when I take photos and stuff, this foundation does look lighter on camera than it does in person, probably because of the SPF, and it does flash back. But in person, without any artificial lighting in front, in natural daylight, this color did match my skin perfectly. I'm just applying this, stippling it on all over my skin and going over the areas that I contoured as well, just to make sure that the contour looks natural. I'm going in with two concealers now. This is by the LA Girl Pro Conceal. First is the shade Pure Beige, and this is a lighter color than my skin tone. This is to brighten up the area, and then I'm going to go in with Warm Honey, which is closer to my skin tone, if not my skin tone. It's a little bit more pink, but the actual color does match my skin. And that's just to help it all blend together better. I don't like it when my under eye is very much lighter than the rest of my skin. And I'm using my foundation brush to blend that in. Again, just to allow for a more natural finish, rather than going in with a separate brush. I've started doing my concealer this way. I still sometimes do the concealer first and then go over with foundation. But I have started doing it this way, and I find it works just as well. But I think I still prefer doing my concealer first. I'm going in with the smaller concealer brush just to make sure that the inner corners are really well blended. And then using whatever's on my foundation brush, I'm just evening out the color on my eyelids. Now I'm going in with Constructivist Paint Pot by MAC. I have decanted this into like a little pill box. I don't recommend doing this because the paint pots dry out really easily. Like even this Constructivist, I first tried to use it with a brush, but I couldn't pick up any products, so I went in with my finger. The funny thing is that the Maybelline color tattoos depot really well. I've depotted them in a separate pill box, exactly the same. They haven't dried up, but the MAC paint pots definitely do dry up, so I don't recommend doing that. But yeah, I'm just applying the paint pot with my fingers across my eyelids. And this is just to give a good base for the colors. And I'm blending out the edges just to make sure there's no harsh lines with the brush. And then going in with the I Heart Chocolate palette by Makeup Revolution and just building up my crease now. So I'm starting out with a light tone warm brown with a fluffy brush into the crease just to build up the transition colors. And then going in with a medium tone brown. And again, applying that in my crease, a little bit more in my crease and not as blended upwards as the first color. And it's important to do this, I find, especially when using colors like red or the Marsala color, just to give a good transition and a good blend to the whole look. In the outer corners, I'm applying black. The black I'm using is from a Sleek palette, but any black will do. And I'm using a pencil brush to do this, just so I can be really precise. I wanted it on the outer corners and along my lash line, almost like a wing. And so that's why I'm being really careful and really precise with how I apply this. I will blend it out so it doesn't look harsh, but the majority of the black and the sharpness of that black, I want it more along the lash line. And then going in with that first blending brush, I'm just blending out the edge of that black and making sure there's no harsh lines on there. And then applying whatever's left on my brush into the crease. Again, just on the outer corner, and then blending that in with the first blending brush. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. But remember, with black, just apply a little at a time because it's so hard to get rid of that black and to blend it out without making a mess. So apply a little and build it up until you get the intensity that you want. If you want it a lot more smoky, then add a lot more black. I was quite happy with this, and so I left it with that. But if you do want it a lot more smoky, then add more black to it. And again, here I'm just blending that out. I do go in a couple of times with the black and the blending brush just to get the intensity that I want. And for the main feature, unfortunately my camera cut out, but I've used this pigment, which is called Spicy Smoke, and it's a crushed metallic pigment by MAC. And I'm just using a flat shader brush to apply this onto the eyelid. I've gone in with about 4 or 5 layers just to get really good intensity from this color. But actually, if you're using this particular pigment, use your fingers. I can see here, it's so much easier and you get a lot more color payoff with your fingers, because it does crush the pigment, which is quite chunky. It crushes it much better with your fingers. I'm just using the brush to clean up the edge, so I do want a definitive upper edge on the pigment. And then going back in with the pencil brush, I haven't taken any more black. Whatever's left on that brush, I'm just blending that black into the Marsala shade. And then going in with a darker brown now and taking a more slimmer tapered brush, I'm applying that into the crease and blending out the edge of that Marsala color and the black, and transitioning that brown into the lighter brown above the crease. Now, because we put in those 2 layers beforehand in the crease, applying this darker shade of brown blends in so much better with the first 2 colors, and you don't need to work as hard. Okay, and then applying the same brown, that same dark brown, along my lower lash line. I'm making sure to connect that to the outer edge of the black that applied earlier with the black eyeshadow. So again, on the lower lash line, if you want it a lot more smoky, you can go further down along the lash line. That looks really good as well for me. I did go quite low down, but you can go a lot lower, and if you don't like to go so low down, you can keep that closer to your lash line. Then here I've just gone in with a bit of black, very close to the lash line, and mostly along the outer edge. And then blending it inwards, but not completely in. And then going in with the shimmer highlight from the palette, I'm applying that onto the inner corners of my eyes, just to open up the eyes a bit more, brighten up the look, and under my brows, so along on my brow bone. This is a really, really stunning highlight. You can use this on your cheeks as well, which I have done in different videos. But yeah, beautiful highlight. And then for my waterline, I'm using the Rimmel Scandalized Kohl Pencil. And I'm applying that on my tight line and on my lower waterline. With this look, if you wanted to go for a more open-eyed look, then you could apply a nude pencil on the waterline. I just don't like nude pencils on my waterline, but you could do that. And then to blend out that black, I've gone in with the same dark brown from that palette, same pencil brush, and just blending out the black liner. And then to create a wing liner now, I'm using the Uemura gel liner and applying this on my upper lash line. So I always start by creating the wing, making sure it's even on both sides, and then I connect that wing to the rest of my eyelid and follow that through. So create a line along my upper lash line. And I'm not making this thick, it's going to be a really thin line along my lash line with a thin wing as well. I don't have a lot of eyelid space, otherwise I could have gone for a thicker wing, but on me personally, I prefer a thinner wing and a thinner line. And I'm making sure to get the inner corners as well, because I want my full eye rim to be black. So inner corners on the upper lid and the lower lid, as you'll see in this next clip. And I'm using the same liner. I don't need to go in with a pencil, I'm using just the same liner to do that. But on the inner corners, I'm not putting the black along the lash line, I'm putting it on the waterline. Now I want to make sure that the under eye area stays bright, so I'm going in with the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Pure Beige, which was the lighter of the two that I first used. And I'm just applying that mainly in the inner corners, and then I'm going to blend that out, outwards and downwards. And again, I'm using the foundation brush, which is a bigger brush, so it blends out more. The color spreads out more outwards and downwards. If I use a smaller brush, I'm going to keep that color quite tight to where my lower lash line is, and that looks more unnatural. But using the same concealer, I'm just highlighting bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, and a little bit on my forehead, not too much. And then again, using the same brush, I'm just blending that out. This is just to balance out the face, because the under eye is a little bit brighter now, so I'm just balancing out the center part of my face. And then going in with the Sleek Face Form palette in dark, I'm going to use the contour shade to set the contour areas, the darkening drops that I used right at the start. So I'm applying that under my cheekbones to contour my cheek, along the temples and my hairline, and down my jaw. And then using the bronzer, and I've been using this a lot and I absolutely love it. I'm applying that on my cheek just above the contour, and it does have a sheen to it. It's not glittery at all, but it looks beautiful. It gives me such a nice glow. I totally recommend this. I've been using this pretty much every time I do my makeup now, and I love it. And then for the highlight, I'm going in with the highlight from the I Heart Chocolate palette, and I'm just applying that on the tops of my cheekbones. I am connecting that with the brow bone and just above my arch and below my arch. And I will apply a little bit of this on the bridge of my nose, on my cupid's bow as well, and just a hint of it on my chin. And then I'm going to set the under part of my eyes using the Makeup Revolution Ultra Contour palette. I've cleaned off this brush before I've gone in with the powder. I'm just using a mixture of the yellow and the pink shade to set under my eyes, on my nose, chin and forehead. These are the areas that I do get oily in now, especially the center part of my face, so I do need to set that. And then for lipstick, I'm going for a completely natural brown lipstick, and this is Hazelnut by Revlon. It has a bit of a sheen to it. It's not a matte finish, which is what I would normally wear, but I do love this color and it matches well with the rest of the look. And with that, the look is complete. I really hope you enjoyed it. I did apply false lashes off camera, which I forgot to add, but this is the look complete. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, and I will see you all next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.